My name is Zakes Mda, and I'm here to launch my latest novel titled The Zulus of New York. The novel is about the Zulus, and it's also about New York. It is also about KwaZulu-Natal, which is where my characters came from. It is about Cape Town. It's about London. I trace the journey of one particular character from the palace of King Cetshwayo Kampande in a town called Ondini in KwaZulu-Natal, where he has to escape because of some of his things with women. And he has to escape then, and he gets to Cape Town. He's recruited by an impresario called William Hunt, known also as the Great Farini. Farini used to come down here and, recruit quite a few Khoi people, the Sand people, and so on, to take them to England and to France to display them in cages, where then, the English ladies and gentlemen would come to ogle at these exotic, strange creatures from Africa. After the Battle of Sandwana, after the Zulus had won over the British, the Zulus became very, very popular in the Western world, because here were these savage warriors, who had defeated the greatest army in the world. So everybody wanted to see these creatures. Farini then, being an impresario, would recruit then these black people, whether they were Zulus or not, as long as they came from Africa. And then they would be dancing in England there, dancing their so-called savage dances. People would pay to see. And then from there, then they moved over to New York. Even there, Zuluness was being performed in many different ways. In street corners, there were performers who passed for Zulu, but they were local people, either African American or even white people with black face, because there was this Zulu thing that was happening. So Farini then came with his own genuine Zulus. I follow then the life of this character in New York, where he meets another one of the displayed characters, a woman from South Sudan, a Dinka woman, and then they fall in love, because you see, if it's my novel, there must be a love story. There was a cultural appetite for that kind of thing, and it continued for many, many years, hundreds of years. Can you believe me when I tell you that the Sarah Bartman incident was 200 years before the Zulus of New York? That is why even the Great Farini had, displays of Khoi people, whom he called daughters of Hottentot Venus. That's the name they gave to Sarah Bartman. Daughters of Hottentot Venus. And the main thing, all they did is to stand in the cage there, and they be examined. Their big bums, big buttocks, their labia, and so on. Then people will be taking notes and looking at these exotic creatures. And all they had to do is just to stand there on this display. The Zulus were dehumanized too, but at least with them, they actually had to perform. This is a story really about dignity, and how even in dire situations, some people are able, to hold to that thread, which is just, the human dignity part of it. For him, actually, to continue holding to dignity, he's actually taught by the woman. The woman from the Jiang people, who the Western people call the Dinka people. They call themselves the Yang. The Dinka people, in their religion, in their culture, have a very strong philosophy on dignity. That is why then this woman is the one who teaches this guy, to hold on to dignity in the same way that she she gets her strength. She's saved in the story, not by another human being or by a man who comes and saves her. She's saved by her own inner resources that come from her own culture, her own religion, her own, cosmology, and her own, narratives with which she was brought up with, all of which have to do with dignity.